There we go. Now we fixed it. It wouldn't be a Will and Michael show if there weren't technical difficulties from the start.
Of course.
Hopefully now people trickle back in.
So just in case you're seeing this for the first time and you weren't there on the first two go-rounds that we tried this, once we had it up a second ago, we realized that the live chat was not on. So
which is like the whole purpose of what we're doing.
Right, yeah. So not only could we not see it, but you guys could see it as well. And there's kind of a problem with that because it says the chat is disabled in YouTube. We just got a notification. So we're back on, and now the chat is up and running.
Not disabled.
So it's not disabled. Jonathan, hey, Liliana.
There we go.
Hey, hello, Liliana. What's up? Liliana, I think I told you this already. If I didn't, though, thank you so much for the letter that you wrote me a couple of weeks ago. It was really awesome. It was super sweet, and I appreciated it. It really made my day. So thank you so much for that letter, for you and your sisters. You guys are all awesome. Appreciate you.
Now we got to wait for everyone to migrate over from the other one to the new one.
Yeah. You got to send out some notifications to some folks.
Right. Here we go. 5 have made it over. We're getting there.
This is literally what happened the very first morning SIP show.
Yeah, we've had this happen before. So you think we would have learned by now, but we did not.
We had so many issues on that first show, and we started and then stopped and then started.
It's full circle. Here we are, 13, 14 weeks later.
And
still having issues.
Same old stuff.
Still having issues. There we go. Everyone's making their way over now. Welcome. I still haven't gotten the alert. You get so much faster than me. Yeah.
I don't think I got it either.
Will and I are in the same location, clearly, on the same network. He always gets his alerts faster than me. For some reason. There we go. Although now we're a lot closer to the screen, so I might be able to actually read those.
Yeah.
Which is progress.
Than we normally are.
Yeah, because normally I can't read them.
Yeah, I got it. We got Lincoln. What's up, Lincoln? Nicole, Paul.
Hopefully everyone on the other one gets it that we're over here now.
Sumi, yeah.
On the plus side, our producer Megan's back. Wait, she just left.
Yeah, it's nice having.
I think it falls up here. Is that what it is?
That's a theory for sure.
It might be. Well, I would say how are you guys doing, but most of you I just saw 2 minutes ago. So, I can still ask how you're doing since 2 minutes ago, but it's good to continue to see you.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already seen our little, trailer that we put out for our next series, the series that we're going to be doing, it's called Gospel Filtered. And the whole purpose of that is to look at things from a standpoint of filtering everything through the gospel. So the next 4 weeks, we're going to talk about that. What we want to do tonight, and then also whenever we do evening table, is have just a discussion time to talk about various things. And I was actually joking. I was texting Will this morning, and just when I wake up, I do my devotions, I get ready, all that kind of stuff, and then I go and I look at the news, and the headlines all in a row were just craziness happening right now. So if you guys are in a place where what is going on? We are too. It was some jet was in our airspace that wasn't supposed to be, and Colorado and Wyoming had a freak snowstorm in June, a foot of snow.
Yeah, highways were closed because of the snowstorm.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff happening, and there's coronavirus still going on out there. Which, remember that? Yeah, it's still there. All kinds of stuff happening. There's just all sorts of craziness in the news, and so we thought we're trying to process through and figure this stuff out, and as we are doing that, we want to do that with you guys. So we don't really have a super strong agenda for what we're doing tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was just laughing about the the context of the text that you sent me, because there's a meme I think that I shared with you.
That's right.
And it was someone who's waking up in the morning, looking what chapter of Revelation are we in this week, or this morning, or today, or whatever.
So it's where are we at now?
And so we could tell where we're at by what's going on in the world. I don't know. The point of it all is that it's all a lot of randomness and confusion, and obviously there's a ton of questions and things like that. But as he and I have each other to process things with. Like when we're going through stuff, and we can call each other and talk through some of the things that we're, having struggles with or whatever the case may be. We wanted to be able to do that with you and even do it live. Just so some of the same way that we do it when you guys don't get a chance to see, we could even do it, right here where you do get a chance to see. So it could be he and I talking. It could be us, again, communicating more some of the things that you have some questions or concerns or worries or just stuff like that about. So we're excited about this, and we hope that it's something that can be kind of fun, interactive, and helpful ultimately. So
that's the idea. Like we even talked about, we don't have answers to everything clearly, but even as we process through things, we thought that you guys could process through it with us. And so again, it's kind of like shooting from the hip a little bit, because we're just like, let's do it and see what happens. So as you guys are commenting there in the chat as you're talking, is there anything that you guys are like wondering about with what's going on in the world right now? Is there anything, how are you processing through all this stuff? I mean, everyone that either was, if you're homeschooled, if you're public schooled, wherever you're at, it was a disruptive year with that. So there's still like, some I think are done with school, some maybe aren't yet, some are still finishing. Some have just been like, I never finished because I've been out since March, kind of all over the place with all that stuff.
Yeah.
But again, so just for you guys, what would you guys like to talk about tonight? What would you guys like to, what questions might you have? Even questions just for us, questions about us, questions regarding us, or what we're calling this tonight. Like I said, it's evening table. So our idea with that is we're talking about Bible, life, etc. So Bible, you can ask about that. We can talk about that. Life, definitely talk about that. Etc. is pretty broad.
Yeah.
So etc. can be really just about anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, he said it's hard for me.
See, I can't actually read that far.
I
thought I could, but I can't do it.
It's hard to be away from friends. I've had the opportunity to hang out with my friends a little more lately. Yeah. See, that's pretty dope. Thank you, Lilian, for putting our acronym in the chat, so anybody who doesn't know what evening table stands for, they can see it. Yeah, that's been pretty cool. I'd be interested, Gannon, where are you guys hanging out? We got another question that's going to be rolling into. Where are you guys hanging out? Because we're like, well, where can we hang out right now? You know, can we go to the park? Can we go to the mall? We're obviously looking into. I'm trying to find different ways and places to go. Everybody says being outside is better than inside, and who wants to be inside right now?
Yeah, we've had enough being inside.
inside for so long. So I'd be interested again to see. And then like how many, when you say your friends or opportunities, how many has it been? Like a lot, a little? Has it been more than you, or has it been like really good for you? Has it been disappointing because of how small the number is? I'd be interested in saying.
It's kind of one of those things too. I think it's probably most of us could say, but Will and I have talked a lot about this, of taking for granted just seeing people. Like you guys, I would see just about every Sunday and Wednesday, and never even thought about the fact that was anything other than just like, oh, it's normal, so it's going to happen. And then all of a sudden we didn't have that, and it was like, oh wow, that was something that I appreciated in a way, but didn't appreciate as much as I should have, I guess. And I will when we're back to that again. I mean, I'll definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, see it a lot differently. Sumi wants to know, that's how you say that, right, Sumi?
We'll go with that.
Yeah, wants to know, have you figured out the small groups?
We are working on that. We are getting ever-evolving information and stuff like that. But the big thing with the small groups is, remember, you got to sign up, and we'll get all that information out. But yes, it's going to be in person.
Yeah.
I mean, how amazing is that?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It'll be nice to finally see some real life. I mean, not that you're not live.
But just more live.
When I'm watching a screen, like it's the same as watching like a movie, or watching a TikTok video or something, right? Yeah. Like it's just like, yeah, we're talking and we're interacting, but you could be like in Timbuktu, as far as I know, and it's just not, obviously it's not the same. So bike riding for sure. I know that one of our leaders, Kate, has been riding her bike a lot more, and so she said that's one of the positive things she's gotten out of.
I have not. I don't have a bike though, so that's probably why. But I've been walking around a lot more, so there's that. That's a positive thing.
So Sumi Stars is actually Naomi. So
That's true.
sorry. She said, but she said yes. So
You said it right. Look at
yeah.
that.
All right.
You nailed it.
At least I said it right, but that's not who it is. So Pastor Michael and I have nicknames. I think I told everybody this during morning sit, or maybe I just told him. So I don't know. So Pastor Michael and I have nicknames. I've been nicknamed P-Dub because of one of the elders at Palm. He called me PW, and then somebody just shortened it to P-Dub. So my nickname is P-Dub. And Kate, who I just mentioned earlier, Kate Hobbs, one of our volunteers at Palm, she labeled Pastor Michael's nickname P-Ham. So
I'll take it.
you guys can call Pastor Michael P-Ham.
That works.
Whenever you want to.
They're good names. They're good names.
Yeah.
Liliana says she's been staying inside a lot, but still got exercise inside. I've actually, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. There's like a little like loop in my house, like kitchen, living room, back around. And one day I got up and just like walked around that a bunch of times while I was trying to like think. But Megan told me that doesn't count as a walk, and I was like, I am moving, so it's a walk.
Not according to my
Yeah, I have steps. Steps are on here. They count.
No,
Totally counts.
Hanging out with the neighbors. Okay, Paul, I don't know if that's Paul or not, but I'm assuming that it is. Paul, would you have hung out with your neighbors if it had not been for quarantine, or like, are you getting to know your neighbors better because of shelter in place? I'd be interested in hearing the answer to that conversation, because.
And what about the rest of you? Because that's definitely true for me. We just moved to this house that we're in, and I don't know how long it would have taken. It probably would have taken a while, but because we've been stuck here, and because we would then get out and walk around, we have gotten to know our neighbors faster in just like a few months in this house than we did in our last house for like 3 years that we were in. We know neighbors better already here because we see them. They're home and we're home. So it's like paths cross all the time on a regular basis.
Right. Yeah.
Will has better eyes than I do. Or better. We both wear things on our eyes. Mine, you just can't see them under contacts. His is
I'm trying to like keep up. The chat is pretty lit right now, so it's moving quickly, and I'm trying to keep up and listen to what he's saying at the same time.
Garen's saying more people interaction.
Yeah,
definitely. Paul says yes. Oh wait, no. Paul says this is Joel and Julia. Oh hey, hello.
All right.
Interesting. Good to see friends, of course. And I kind of feel like too. So I feel like everyone's slowed down in general. So we've talked about this so many times, and we'll bring it up again. But I keep thinking about, with everything happening now, there's a lot of negative that's happened from being locked inside and are stuck in our homes. And I mean, I have friends and family that have lost jobs and maybe not have jobs to go back to. So there's a lot of it that is certainly bad. But there's also, I think, even in the midst of that there has been some good. So just in our little block, it's like a half-mile little circle here. I see people riding bikes. I see people going for walks. I see people playing catch out in the street. Like super like 50 years ago kind of stuff that we don't see as much because normally we're so busy. I don't know what we're busy doing, but we're busy. And so that's been a cool thing, I feel like, to just, I miss seeing friends and people that I know, but I've met new people as well. So that's been interesting and kind of cool.
Yeah. I would say one thing that I see, so Gannon had made a comment about how like it's hard. It's kind of sad not being able to see like some of the people that you've seen in a while. And that for sure is true. And that can be kind of like frustrating. I think that one of the things that's helped me out with some of this too is like seeing whatever like little positives that have like come about this or come from this, and then turned into huge like wins. I think, and one of those for me is that like I haven't seen a lot of my friends that I was used to seeing pretty regularly, but I've seen this guy way more than I had ever seen him in the past.
More than he wanted to,
in the past like 6 months. Never planned on that, right? And yet, this guy's like my like long lost brother. I'm like, where's he been all my life? He's been at campus since October, and I haven't gotten a chance to know him since he's gotten here. And now that we've like in the past 3 months, I feel like we've spent like a year's worth of time together. So taking like those opportunities for like the relationships with people that I saw pretty regularly and had good like relationships with, and saying that, man, like it was unfortunate that I don't get a chance to see like those people, but maybe this is also could be used as an opportunity to get to know someone better in a more like deeper and intimate level. So maybe I don't have like a dozen relationships with people that I see, for 5 minutes, but maybe I have one relationship with someone that I invest like, an hour, 2 hours a day in when I didn't have that time before.
True story. Yeah. Because again, it's another case that Will and I would see each other. We have staff meeting every Wednesday. So we see each other every Wednesday, and we knew we were going to see each other every Wednesday. So it's like, oh, I'm going to ask Will a question. Oh, I'll see him Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that just was, and sometimes I didn't forget the things I was going to ask or say. But yeah, so we've had more interactions in that sense than we did before.
Sumi said it again. Naomi said,
I like Sumi. That's a good name.
Yeah, Naomi said during the power outage recently they met. They actually met their neighbor's family. Oh, speaking of power outage, did somebody feel the earthquake that we had?
What was that?
I think it was Friday.
I felt like I felt like this, and I was like, that was weird.
I was on a Zoom meeting with the team, and then one of them said something. I'm pretty sure it was Friday night. One of them said something, and I was like, no, what's wrong with you? And then like somebody looked it up, and for sure it was like 5.4, I think. But it was not super close to here, but it was definitely, we felt it. So anyway.
See, so Kristen says, since she goes to Maple, she didn't even know Will until this happened. See? It's cool, right? Yeah. That's one thing I'll say. So I've been at campus since October, so what is that? 9 months? 8, 10? Some amount of months since October. And it's really cool because, again, since I'm mostly at the Maple side, it's been so cool to we've literally, even though we are one church in 2 locations, we've gone to one church in multiple locations, but also one church doing things out of one location. I mean, it's been really just a unique season, obviously, but it's just cool. Even seeing the worship team each Wednesday being a mix of Palm and Maple, that's really cool because I would only see the Palm team when I was over at Palm for teaching or something or like that. So even that kind of stuff's been cool just to get to know the body in a different way, church-wide, both campuses, both location-wise. That's been fun.
Yeah. Somebody asked, I think it was Lincoln, said, "What's the bottle in the middle?" It's like, what's the story behind that bottle? It looks
tap water. Tap water.
It looks super fancy.
That's the funny thing. I feel like it's a joke. I don't know if it's supposed to be.
Straight out the kitchen sink.
Because it's tap water, but it looks fancy. So I thought it was funny. I have a weird sense of humor, though, as you all know. Straight out the kitchen sink.
Naomi, I'm going to get your name right. I promise you. I'm not going to call you Sumi, even though I do appreciate you letting me know that I could. I'm going to call you. Again, no doubt, that rethinking and redefining. I think that somebody said, my wife is just finished her final. Some of you might not know that. My wife, Alexa, was diagnosed with breast cancer last year in October. She had surgery and she just finished her final chemotherapy session today. And so praise God that she's on the road to recovery and things like that. But she has this little journal, and inside the journal, it has little motivational or encouraging, words of encouragement specifically for cancer. And one of the quotes in there was without something breaking, there's no healing. Without healing, there's no growth, or something like that. I don't know. The point is that, again, as Gannon said, rethinking and evaluating something when something is broken is a great time to redefine what that thing is. And so when it comes to friendship, what we say are friends, when our definition of that is broken, is a perfect time to reevaluate what friendship actually is and what it means, because you'll find out in a heartbeat, when things are not going well, you'll really find out, or when things are, or when the norm is challenged, that's when you really find out the definition of some things, especially friends. And so, there's some people I preached a message were you here when I preached the Sticky Friends message? You were here, right? No?
I wasn't.
No. Okay. So I preached a sermon on sticky friends. That's you and I have talked about sticky church and sticky leadership and stuff like that. But I talked about that. There's levels to friendship, right? And so there's this, exterior, we just are kind of associates level. And then there's oh yeah, you might get an invite to my birthday party. And then there's oh yeah, well, you'll probably get the invite to the Christmas party. And that's the one where if you're on that list, I'm still trying to figure out if Pastor Michael's on it or not. But but anyway, the point is that these challenging times can be helpful to reevaluate some stuff.
That's so true. So we've talked a lot about this, Will and I have as well, but looking at everything happening now, and it has put all of our lives essentially in one way or another like on hold in a lot of ways. So there's, again, jobs, school, friends hanging out, all this stuff. And I had a friend who said this, and it stuck with me since the beginning, and I'm still going back over and over it again. But instead of just looking at everything as just being a pause, try looking at things as like a reset. So what kind of views can you have of what's happening, of what has happened, to kind of reset priorities? Some examples that even Will and I have talked about before is like, we've talked to people who have said like, it turns out it wasn't because I was too busy that I wasn't reading my Bible. It wasn't because I was too busy that I wasn't spending time in prayer. Because now I'm not busy and I'm still not doing that. And so it's like, well, maybe that's a good chance for a reset. It's a good chance to look at things and be like, what can I do differently? Because as we are now emerging out of being stuck in our homes, a lot of things are going to go back to normal, but do we want everything to go back to normal? Should everything go back to normal? What things might God be saying, don't put that thing back to normal? So we need to be looking for some of those kind of things that we can look at as resetting rather than just unpause.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Now, as we're even getting comments in here, one thing I wanted to ask you guys and want you to comment on is, in the midst of everything that's happened with lockdown and being stuck at home, all those sorts of things, what's just one thing that was good or positive out of this time? So comment that, let us know what those things are. And every time I ask a question, I should have an answer ready, and I don't. There's been lots of good things. We've already kind of shared that, I guess. We've already talked about some good things for us.
Yeah, for sure. It would be the kind of collaboration, and not even collaboration from like a work perspective, but just like literally like life collaboration, me getting to know my brother, me bringing his kids fruit snacks,
I love the fruit snacks.
His son biting off half of them and sharing them with me. That's how you know, like you've made it.
That's
When somebody
when you get half eaten food.
When you get half eaten food, that's how you know you've made it. So
that's what it takes. So Hope says that she's enjoyed finding different ways to communicate, which is a great point. Writing letters, Zoom calls. Yeah, I didn't know how to use Zoom at all. We didn't know how to use YouTube, and we're still not really totally sure, let's be honest. This is the second try tonight.
We're trying.
But we've been forced to learn some new things. Writing letters is a good thing.
No doubt.
As you guys are sending some more comments, I'll tell you a quick story. I told you this before also, but I'll say it again. So Megan lived in Germany, right? So 2 years we dated, she lived over there. I sent her a letter every week, and then she married me. So I'm just saying, the power of letter writing. Don't underestimate. Like an actual letter I would write and then like take to the post office and send it to Germany, which was far away.
You know what? Talk about courtship.
Right? Come on. Writing letters. That's where it's at.
No doubt. I can't remember where it's at. I'm trying to remember. Oh, Paul said playing outside a lot.
Outside?
Yeah.
I also see video games.
Yeah, no doubt.
Also good.
Anybody on Twitch?
Get to know. I see no Twitchers.
Yeah.
Don't tell them that I don't.
Okay, never mind. Don't answer the Twitch question.
Got to know a few people better. Exactly. Very true. Didn't know Zoom was before March. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I had it for some reason. I can't remember why.
I had heard of it.
I had it on my phone.
I already had
the app on my phone. But I have no idea why.
I did not. See, Hope says something about writing and receiving letters. It's true. So there's this thing, like most of you probably weren't around, I don't think, when, I forget when it was. But like Will and I were alive when the internet came out, basically like to everyone.
Like it started.
Like when it actually was a thing. And at that time, like you get mail and the regular mail, like, who cares? And I remember I'd come home and I would like check my email. And at that time it was AOL. And the little voice would be like, "You've got mail." And sometimes it wouldn't say that. And like, maybe tomorrow. And then like the next day I'd have like one. It was so exciting. Now I have like hundreds of emails a day, just junk. You know?
There's no way that I'm reading.
And if I get a letter in the mail now, I'm like, ooh, like a real letter. It's like really exciting.
Yeah, I'm so bad at reading emails. It's so weird. It literally is flipped.
Yeah, that's the nature of things.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, again, Paul said this isn't Paul. That's right. We remember. It's Joel and Julia. That's right. See, it's tricky because it says Paul, but we're onto it now.
Yeah.
That's right.
I completely forgot. That's my bad. I'm going to have a hard time remembering that, just regardless.
It's tricky. Spend more time with grandma because she's living. Very cool. So hope I spend more time with her grandma. So see, it's cool that there are positives. And, it's like easy to say, like, there's always good and everything bad, which I don't like when people say that because sometimes, like, bad things are just bad and they just feel bad. But I think this is a good example of seeing how this is a mix, right? There's been negative things and there's been positive things. And so there's been some good that can come out of it, which is a good perspective to have.
Right. Noah and Sam are using Allison Howard's YouTube account, so they said that it's not Allison.
That makes sense
Noah
too.
And Sam. So this is we got a lot of catfishing going
Fake
on.
names.
We're getting catfished, right?
I was just in a Zoom call with the high schoolers, and someone had the name Michael Hammond. It's my name. So at first I thought like, oh, it's me, and I'm like, wait, I never see my own name. I see what's going on here. I'm on it.
That's pretty funny.
Can't trick me.
That's pretty funny.
So okay, so we talked about good things. I don't want to talk about bad things from all this because that's just kind of a downer. But so with on a larger scale. So again, I mentioned headlines. I don't know if you guys watch the news or a news app or if your parents do. But with everything going on right now in general in the world, so just the number of different things happening, how do you feel overall about like the state of our world today? I guess like, so what's your feeling? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling scared? Are you feeling optimistic? Are you feeling pessimistic? Are you feeling, what other things can people feel? Positive,
worry,
negative,
fear.
worry, fear, any of those things. What are you feeling overall when you just, if you hear the news, or if you hear your parents talking, or if you hear friends talking, or you scroll through Instagram and things pop up, ads or news articles or people sharing stories or whatever. How are you guys feeling? Elsie, which is not Tamara, it's Elsie. I saw. She says, I feel normal.
No, that's good.
Good. Normal's good.
That's funny because you talked about the delay, but it's the comments come faster on your phone than they do on
We don't know how to
the
use it.
screen. That's so interesting.
A little shocked, to be honest. Someone's a little scared, sad. Yeah, I think that's all normal too. Shocked, scared, sad, all of the above. It's like, yeah, it's like, how do you, that's kind of what we've been talking about. Like, we're processing this kind of stuff at the same time you guys are processing it too. So that's why we're saying that we don't have necessarily answers to everything. And I don't know, a lot of people don't have answers to everything happening, but we're processing through it. We're trying to figure it out as we go.
Mm-hmm.
Like God's coming soon. We don't like us grow up a little bit. A little shocked, sad.
Keep it clean. Is that like hand sanitizer?
It's important too.
I feel like those are hand sanitizer.
Kristen says, what are your thoughts about George Floyd and what encouragement and advice can you give? So that's another whole thing happening. We're seeing this thing of like of the struggle of what does justice look like, and how what happens when we don't see justice? What is justice? What should justice be? Again, we're processing through that at the same time you guys are. What advice can we give? Oh man,
Right.
I don't know.
Be a light.
Yeah.
Be a light. I think that it's a challenge, that our world is plagued by sin, and our responsibility to all of the injustices that we see in the world, with all of the things that go wrong in the world, are just that we are a people who are fallen as a result of Genesis chapter 3, and it's our responsibility to share the good news of the gospel and the hope that lies within that, because that's honestly where we're going to get victory. That's where we're going to get unity. That's where we're going to find peace. And that's where we're going to learn how to deal with all of the difficult things that we're going to go through in this world. Jesus told us, he said, in this world, you will have tribulation. But he said, be of good cheer because I have overcome the world. So our hope in all of the things that we see that are wrong or broken or messed up are in the world. They're also not going to be found. Like, the solutions are also not going to be found in the world. And there's things that we can do to try to help and move forward with certain things. But the ultimate response is that we need the light of the gospel now more than ever in the world. So,
I mean, we go back again, like, to scripture with anything. So that's what, again, our series that we're going to start is talking about, is filtering everything through the gospel, which just when we interact with others, when we talk with others, even on social media and stuff, are we being, like Will said, are we being lights? So, I mean, no matter where you guys are at, like age-wise, I mean, there's a whole range, and then including us as well. This is something we can all do. So there's that sense of like, what can I do? What should I do? It's just this kind of like struggle of what are we supposed to do? But that's one thing we can do. We can all be a light. We can all point people towards Jesus, and not necessarily always even just with like words, but with actions as well. Jesus said that people will know we're his followers if we love each other. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we underestimate like love, like, oh, it's just like a warm, fuzzy feeling. But love's an action. Love requires like us to choose and to act and to have that sense of love for others. So I think that's something that any of you can do. You can show love, even just like you guys are talking to neighbors, hanging out with them. One thing Will and I are talking about is like just having conversations is important. Talking to people is important, and just opening up and being there for people. This is all important stuff.
Yeah, and I'll share this as Pastor Michael's looking at the comments. Obviously, for me specifically, this the whole situation with like our country has been really difficult, and it's been hard to process. I've just honestly, I've spent several nights like shedding tears about some of the challenges that we're going through, and concerned about the future, and like having my own doubts and worries and things like that. But just as something as simple as, again, as a conversation, it might seem like silly, but something as simple as like Pastor Michael being like, "Hey man, how are you doing?" And like he and I actually having an opportunity to have that conversation it does a couple of things, but all of it boils back down to like, I know that like he loves me because he's shown me that he cares about specifically how I'm doing. Not like, hey, you need to get over it, or not like, he's like, no, just genuinely like, how are you? And like, is there anything that I can do? So that's super important. John
says.
Yeah.
John says.
Let us not love with words, but with action and deed.
I mean, those things got to be tied together, actions and words. I mean, like, think of your parents like ask you, hey, did you clean your room? And you're like, yes, I'll clean my room. And then you don't do it. That didn't do anything. That didn't accomplish anything, just saying so. So even when we say like love, if we just say we love someone, but don't do anything, well, the words by themselves don't change anything. It might make us feel better because we say like, oh, I told that person I love them. I feel better. I'm glad I did that. But we have to follow it with action. We have to actually do something. A little bit ago, Liliana mentioned about the Pray for America thing on the 10th the campus is doing. So
yeah,
I don't even know if I could explain that whole thing very well, but it's like basically our area, churches are signing up to pray so that every day there's prayer happening. And campus happened to pick at the 10th, and we're praying on that day. And so like you can sign up and you can do it, and like our family did. And it's just cool to think that what we're working towards is constantly going before the throne of God with prayer. And I mean, man, if we don't need that more than right now, I can't imagine. I mean, everything happening so far, we're about halfway through the year. 2020 has been a very full year, and what better time to go to God in prayer?
So somebody, we've got like a different like group chat going on with some of my folks. So somebody said that your nickname should be Fam because it's just PHAM. So instead of PHAM, it should just be Fam.
I like that. Just Fam. Fam. That could work.
I love that.
I could work with that.
Yeah. And then Will could just be Pub.
Almost have water commitments. Those are good. You guys are good at making nicknames, I gotta say.
Yeah, for sure. Somebody said, yay, I'm so confused, or yeah, I'm so confused.
So I think it's just back to that idea of, and I think even prayer, right? I mean, let's be honest, prayer can be tricky sometimes too, because we think like, well, how do I do that? What am I supposed to do? Like even like my family, we signed up for, I should know this. I did it. I did pray. I think we did 6 to 6:30. I was forgetting what time it was, but 6 to 6:30 is what we did. And you think like, how am I going to pray for half an hour? But it's not even about, I think, don't ever feel like you have to sit down and like pray for an hour, pray for half an hour. That's good if you can, and if you want to, that's good too. But you can pray throughout the day. It's talking to God. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. It's important, but it is that simple.
Yeah.
Like I don't, my kids talk to me as their dad throughout the day. They talk to me. And we don't often have, I think, rarely do I sit down and talk to them for an hour straight. But we talk all throughout the day. And so I know what's going on in their life. They know what's going on with me. I mean, Even like my son Makai is 2. We sit down. He's like, "How's your day, Dad?" "Good." "How's your day?" "Good." That's pretty good. That's about it. But we're talking. We're having conversations. So even with God, just throughout the day, at any point, you can talk to him.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely like an attitude of prayer, and understanding again that it doesn't have to be something that's super deep or super spiritual or something that like you've heard other people do. I've got a shirt that says Christianity is not just a religion; it's a relationship. Or actually, no, that was the shirt that I wanted to make. The other one that I have is just a lifestyle. And then the question is like, what's your status? Because you have relationship status. Oh no, they don't do that. That's on Facebook. Never mind. The point is that like when you have a relationship with someone, you're communicating with them, and the key to the success of that relationship is communication. And so how you develop that is different. And even in marriages, for example, like how me and my wife communicate might be different than how Pastor Michael and his wife communicate. And it doesn't matter if it looks exactly the same. The point is that, is it effective? The point is that like is what needs to be communicated like coming across. And when I write out my schedule, when I write down like, and I don't want to get in trouble by like emphasizing the point of prayer, right? So don't make it seem like I'm trying to downplay the importance of it. But when I write out my schedule in the morning, it literally says talk to God. Like that's it. That's my prayer, is just like talk to God. And like when I'm going to like read the Bible or sometimes even listen to it like audibly, it's like listen to God. And so there's a communication thing that's happening. And so it shifts my mind about, okay, like I'm trying to make sure that I do all of these things correctly and say all of these things correctly. No, it's just like you need to have a conversation, and your Heavenly Father wants to hear it from you. And he wants to be able to tell you some of the things that he has for you, planned for you as well. So
I think we should leave you guys with a challenge maybe. Let's try that. So everyone who's listening, you're still here, so you're on the spot. Before you go to bed tonight, at some point, pray. Simple, right? Just talk to God. And it could be as long or short or whatever you want it to be. Sometimes my prayers honestly are like, God, that whatever happened sucked. Like it's like as simple as that. That's how I'm feeling. Or sometimes I'm like, hey God, that was cool. One time, so we talk to our kids about this idea of like talk to God anytime, just always be in communication. And one time we were in a parking lot and we're looking for a spot, and a car pulled out. And so like, oh, cool, we'll pull in there. And my daughter Melina, she's 7 now. She's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5. I'm like, oh, cool, we got a spot. So I pulled in, and she's like, thanks, God. So that was like her little prayer, because we got a parking spot. So even little things like that, she recognizes like, oh, cool, like even that. So whatever it might be, just before you go to bed, all of you who are on here, so we're expecting there's going to be 20-something prayers tonight being sent up to God at some point. Simple enough challenge before you go to bed tonight, or maybe like as you're about to go to bed, evening prayer, that works too. But do that. Have a conversation, because conversations are important. So have a conversation with God. Do
Look
that.
at that whole thing. How we like wrap
Full
that
circle.
all around. The full circle.
We planned that, guys.
Conversations. I like that.
All right, guys. Well, so what we're going to do, evening table, talking about Bible. I always want to do life first, life Bible, but that would be table, Bible, life, etc. What we're doing, we're going to do that 2 weeks from now. We'll be back doing that again. And so hope you guys join us for that 2 weeks from tonight, Wednesday night. I don't know what night that is. 2 weeks. All right, guys.
Wait. Before we leave, one thing I did want to ask. Okay. Our evening table is again designed to talk about life. So
that's right.
I love the fact that you guys came up with a lot of different things for us to talk about tonight, and that's the idea of the whole thing. So we want you to be able to do that. So be thinking about that 2 weeks down the road. The other thing, though, that I had suggested to Pastor Michael was it might be cool to have one of you on with us during evening table.
Right.
So if you're interested in being a guest on evening table
We're gonna
to
have
talk
guests now,
about your life and experience and etc., or just help us field questions, that'd be cool too. So be thinking about that if you're interested, and let us know. All right.
And the whole point of the table is having conversations. That's what we're going to be doing. So that's what it's about. And also send us questions. If you already follow us on Instagram, Campus Youth Fresno, put questions on there. Text us, get in touch with us, email. Your parents have our information. Send us the questions. Say like, hey, this would be a cool topic to talk about, and we'll put those in there.
Yeah.
It's all about conversation. It's all about discussion.
And if you're on Instagram and you don't follow us, shame on you.
You should, because we have such great things we put out there. Campus Youth Fresno on Instagram. All right, now remember those things. Challenge, prayer. Think about being a guest. Think about questions, topics, things to talk about. And we'll see you guys back on here 2 weeks from now.
All right. Good night.